So, a big story has been evolving around the new star of this Snow White reimagination, Rachel Zegler. I had no idea who she was before, but she talks shit on a whole bunch of Trump supporters. So, like, more than half the country. And so that got my attention.
Back and I'm better than ever. Whoa. I think I got a vendetta. Oh, now they call me, I seen them.
After the election, Rachel posted this on her Instagram story. I find myself speechless in the midst of this. Another 4 years of hatred, leaning us towards a world I do not want to live in. Leaning us towards a world that will be hard to raise my daughter in. Leaning us towards a world that will force her to have a baby she doesn't want. Stop. Stop. What? The fact that these people live in this fairy tale land. I mean, it's no mistake that she is Snow White. In this fairy tale land of like, my daughter in 15 years, when I have her, she's not going to be able to have a kid when she's, so this is like 30 years at least now. That you don't think things are going to happen between now and then, like maybe no one will want to have a kid with you. You kind of ruin it for yourself now. And seriously, I'm tired of these celebrities coming out and saying how hard their life is going to be after you can obviously see how much material success they've had. Like, no one can relate to you, boo. She goes on, I shouldn't be this shocked, but I am. I am heartbroken for my friends who awoke fear this morning, and I am here with you. To cry, to yell, to hug, to wax poetic on how the left continues to fail us in forging a new path forward. This loss should not have been, and it certainly should not have been by so many votes, but it was. It was. Just this like shoulda, coulda, woulda thing. It's like, it happened. Get over it. I echo Ethel Kane's statement more than anything. May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace. So you think that there's going to be another 4 years of hatred, and you just told all the Trump supporters that you don't care, you don't want them to live in peace. Ever. But you think that the Trump administration is going to bring hatred. Is that a hypocrite? She goes on, because all of these artists, artists, they have so much to say. There is also a deep, deep sickness in this country that is shown in the sheer amount of people who showed up for this man who threatens our democracy. Again, just this, it's like, boo, we know you read scripts for a living, okay? You don't have to do it in your free time. He doesn't threaten our democracy. The voters, the American people actually use democracy, so he won the popular vote in Electoral College. That is democracy. It is here. It is here in the room with us. Democracy is here. It is terrifying the number of people who stand behind what this man preaches. It is a foolish subscription to a false sense of security, of masculinity, of intelligence, of patriotism, and of humanity. You going to talk about masculinity with this Snow White stuff? That we'll get to it. There is no help, no counsel in any of them. Man, f*** you. F*** you. F*** you. I could go on. I won't. I feel sad. You probably do too. F*** this. Oh, here's more. She could go on, and she will. Get off Elon's app, by the way. The f*** are you doing? That hatred that Trump's gonna bring. It already has through Rachel. Oh, poor girl. She has been compromised. Quote, they're eating you up on Twitter. I don't use that app for a reason. He helped get that man elected, and you're giving him business. Bill Gates gave $20 million to the Kamala campaign. But I'm sure that you brought him business by getting the vaccine. I was talking about finding catharsis in art. I don't care if you're going to pick a fight with me. It's been done before. Find something real to be mad at today. There's plenty to go around. Real? You want to find something real to be mad at today? Like your daughter who isn't even born yet and who hasn't even gotten pregnant yet, and you haven't even found someone to have a baby with you? That type of real that you're talking about getting mad at? Her last one. Okay, that's all. Going on stage for Act 2 now and need to get off my soapbox before I get too heated. Was she doing this in the middle of a play? The hell? Sending love to everyone who needs it today. Trump supporters need it. because you just punched them in the face. May we all carry each other through the worst and hold these politicians accountable. Your dim govs just got very important. They already were, but hey, follow your governors. Hold them accountable. Local government is where we will make real change. This is not the end ever. I will love through these 4 years as best I can. Donald Trump. You will love the best show. You ain't doing your best, girl. You ain't doing your best, girlie. There is a headline from Parade that says Snow White star Rachel Zegler's bold political message sparks backlash. I wouldn't call that a bold message. It's like, oh, Rachel's so strong. She's being bold for going out and saying, Donald Trump and may his voters never know peace. What's such a bold statement? Here's another headline. Rachel Zegler on reinventing Snow White and Juliet facing off against toxic Disney fans. Quote, I've watched women get torn down my whole life. First of all, you don't need to reinvent Snow White. What is this? With all of these remakes, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of these remakes. I'm not a fan of the retelling of the stories. I'm not even a fan of doing mixes of old songs into new songs. That be creative and do something yourself. Make something new. And definitely don't take something old and make it woke. And I can't stand these celebrities saying, I've watched women get torn down my whole life. Bro, you're the lead in Snow White, along with Gal Gadot, who is the second lead in Snow White. What women are you talking about? Here is her interview where she talks a little bit about Snow White.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
So you're not making Snow White. You're creating a different story. So that's the thing. Be creative and make your own fairy tale with other costumes and you're creating a whole different storyline. So it's not Snow White. Here's another clip of Rachel Zegler talking about Snow White.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
Because people in 1937 are awful, awful people. Awful time, truly. We should never go back to there. We should always push forward and be more woke.
There is a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
I don't know. I thought the witch was kind of the weird one in this. Not the guy. I thought the witch that was like trying to poison her was kind of the weird. I felt like that was kind of the weird one. But she's a woman, and women have been torn down through Rachel Zegler's long life. And Rachel just, in these interviews, she sounds so self-righteous. Like, oh, I'm bringing a better Snow White to the world. Because this other one, it's awful. And nobody should have to see that ever. Can you believe it? If you want to see how much more out of touch Rachel is, here's another clip.
Seeing little kids dressed up as Snow White makes me sob my eyes out. Oh. I can't, are you good? I'm like, no. No, I went with my publicist, Ashton. We were in Paris, and
Wait till it comes out.
I know. What?
I was with my publicist, Ashton. We're out in Paris, and, that's where we were. And we're having a baguette, and I just had, one bite because, a man made it, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna have a man make my baguette. I'm gonna have a woman make it. Get in the kitchen. I'll touch. Rachel did go to her story to apologize. Said, hi everyone, I would like to sincerely apologize for the election post I shared on my Instagram last week. I let my emotions get the best of me. Hatred and anger have caused us to move further and further away from peace and understanding, and I am sorry I contributed to the negative discourse. This week has been emotional for so many of us. but I firmly believe that everyone has the right to their opinion. Even when it differs from my own, I am committed to contributing positively toward a better tomorrow. That it's just like a complete flip. Everyone has a right to their opinion, but also I don't wish peace on those people. Also, Donald Trump. I'm not buying it, Rachel. I'm not buying it. But this wasn't the first time controversy hit this new Snow White. When it was announced in 2015 that a remake was coming, there was questions about how Disney would remake this with the dwarves and not have it be so offensive. So this was clipped from an article. A spokesperson told The Hollywood Reporter, quote, "To avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film, we are taking a different approach with these 7 characters and have been consulting with families or with members of the dwarfism community." You know what I think happened is when Disney first made this movie in 1937, they were like, how can we be so stereotypical that we eventually become assholes? I think that's what they were thinking. They weren't thinking this is a fairy tale. Let's make up these characters and these old men with these the beards and silly outfits, and it'll be fun for kids. No, we want to stereotype people with dwarfism. There's another clip with actors of all different genders, ethnicities, and heights cast in the roles of the newly named, quote, magical creatures. The film offers a refreshing take on Disney's original tale. It doesn't offer a refreshing take. It creates a whole other stupid movie. And now they're magical creatures, all different genders, ethnicities, and heights. I never watched the first Snow White and was like, where are all the tall dwarves in here? It's like, where are all the black dwarves in here? Where are all the non-binary dwarves in here? That's just a question that's never asked. And I think Hollywood does a great job of that, is to giving answers to questions that were never asked. Here's another. The upcoming release of Disney's live-action remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, currently scheduled for March 2025, has been surrounded by controversy. So much so that the film's trailer has received over 1 million dislikes on YouTube. In particular, many fans have taken umbrage with the fact that computer-generated imagery, CGI, will be used for the characters of the Seven Dwarfs, now renamed the Miners, rather than having them played by dwarf actors. So those people that you saw that could be receiving paychecks and a diverse cast of people with heights and ethnicities and genders, instead of giving them a paycheck, we're going to use CGI and we're going to rename them Miners. But don't call it Snow White and the Seven Miners, because that sounds bad. And from this came a lot of controversy, so many of the fans expressing disappointment that the dwarves will now be CGI. They fail to realize how the role impacts people with dwarfism in public. For example, in 2012, German lawyer Silke Schonfletch Backhofen, who has dwarfism, successfully sued a man after he started laughing and singing Hi Ho, the song the dwarves sing in the original Disney film, at her in court. That person's just an asshole. Am I gonna go out and sing Hi Ho to a dwarf in public? No. I'm gonna look right over him. And this article goes on to say, of those people with dwarfism who are actors, many have long refused to play roles that are considered derogatory, including the Seven Dwarfs. That is because people with dwarfism are capable of so much more. Really? Because I thought people with dwarfism were just capable of being dwarves in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Duh. Worldwide, there are more than 250,000 people with dwarfism. People with dwarfism include geneticist and psychiatrist Judith Badner, lawyer Paul Stephen Miller, and astrophysicist William A. Wheaton. Do they think we're stupid? Do they think that we think that people who have dwarfism, that then they just sit around their house all day and have dwarfism? That they can't be intelligent or capable or talented? It's truly offensive. It's more offensive to us than it is to them. And it's also offensive to them. needless to say, I will not be seeing Snow White. And it seems like a lot of people who were going to see Snow White will also not see Snow White. Maybe Rachel Zegler, get off social media, or maybe just stick to movie and play scripts. Stop trying to be this altruistic hero that no one needs. But let me know, are you going to watch Snow White? You gonna go to the movies and see that? Leave some words in the comments. Let me know what you think about the whole thing. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.
Back and I'm better than ever. I think I got a vendetta. Oh, now they call me, I seen them. All of those times getting severed. I told them all I can let up. They get not tired of me never. Give me a shot and I swear I shoot like Berettas. Yeah, yeah. They getting nervous, I seen it. What I seen you wouldn't.